All right, are we ready, Jack?
Yes, Councillor Liggett.
All right, everybody. Welcome to this 3rd of March meeting of Te Puna Kōrero. Can I just ask before we start that if you want to talk, please, I think it'll be easier, seeing as we're getting more experience now, to hold up your hand metaphorically on screen, as opposed to holding it up in the picture. But when I put a motion, just a hand on screen waving will be fine. Okay, so let's start with apologies. I don't think we have any. I'm not sure whether Taku is here or not. No, not at this stage. Okay, so none. Public forum, we'll move on to public forum. We have no requests to speak. Conflict of interest declarations. Are there any conflicts of interest that anyone wishes to declare? No, I take it. Item 4, neither are there any items of extraordinary business. So let's move to item 5, which is confirmation of the minutes of the Te Puna Kōrero meeting of the 17th of February this year. I'm going to move it as a true and correct record. Do I have a seconder, please? Okay, Councillor Ford, I see you're... Right, I see you first. Does anyone wish to make any comments on those minutes? Okay, I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Aye, yep. Those against? Carried. Thank you very much. So we'll now move to item 6.1, which is an application for an easement for the Bottomley Park trunk sewer, that upgrade project. I'm going to move the report to get it onto the table, seconded by Mayor Baker. Thank you very much. I'm opening the report for discussion, but I think I'll ask an officer, and who does it want to be? Is it you, Matt? Just to run us through very briefly the key elements of this, because there's quite a lot in the report, but we're only being asked to just approve it under our delegated authority.
Yeah, that's right. I'll just start by introducing Anna McRae from Exist. She's joining us in the meeting today. Anna has prepared the report in front of you and really done the work on this project on PCC's behalf. So I'll just invite her to provide a summary of the report, and then we'll get into questions.
Thank you, Anna.
Morena, Chair and Councillors, lovely to meet you all. So as part of the Bottomley Park trunk sewer upgrade project, the Te Aranga Alliance has applied for an easement across many of the reserve parcels that make up Bottomley Park and Cannons Creek Park. You'll see in attachment 3, there's a map showing the indicative easement alignment, and I know that you've seen that before in December when we reported this up to you for a different purpose. And in attachment 2, it outlines the parcels that are impacted. The easement itself will be between 8 and 11 metres wide, and it's to enable the installation, the occupation and the operation of the trunk sewer, and that includes future repairs and upgrades. So we've reviewed the application and had numerous meetings and discussions with the applicant, and we feel satisfied that it can be processed on a non-notified basis in accordance with the Reserves Act. So today we're just seeking a decision from you to support that so that we can go ahead and process it and then bring the decision report back to you in May. So happy to answer any questions.
Okay, councillors, thank you for that, Anna. Are there any questions that councillors have? I'm looking, Councillor Wehapi.
Thank you. Just a couple of questions. First one is, what would be the potential disadvantages, if any, to the public if it's not notified? That's the first question. Second question is, if there's not going to be any public notification regarding this easement, will there be any information sessions available for residents?
Through the chair, the the project itself has been widely consulted on in various ways through council's processes with the long-term plan. There's the Alliance and Porirua Development have also done a lot in terms of putting signs up at the entrance points to the parks. We have recently publicly notified the reserve closures and received just 3 submissions on that, which we'll report back to you in April. So I think that there's it's been well publicised and communicated. I don't think there's any disadvantages to the public. There's a lot of information both on council's website and on Porirua Development's website about the project. And there's lots of contact points that the community can come in and find the right people to talk to ask any questions they might have or raise any issues or concerns. Hopefully that answers the question.
Does that answer your question, Kylie? Yep. Okay. Does anyone else have any questions? I just welcome you there, Taku. I see you've popped in. Welcome. You don't have any questions, Taku, on this Bothamley Park sewer upgrade?
No, not at all.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Morell, you're waving your hand.
Well, you told me to, so I had.
No. What I did, sorry.
I'll raise it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Just a question. You mentioned May. I mean, what is the process from here? I mean, you also mentioned April. I mean, I always get, these things are a long process. Where do we go to after this today?
Through the chair. So the April date is for a decision on the closure of Bothamley Park. So the public notification of that concluded in late February, and so the next available meeting essentially was April, and then the easement decision, so that's what this relates to today, will be made in May. The reason we've structured it that way is to avoid a sort of a preconceived decision being made, or a fait accompli type decision being made, making sure we hear those submissions and hear the public before we make the final decision on the easement itself.
Thank you.
Okay. Councillor Hayward.
Thank you, Matua Upoko. Mena kaikana hira me he kaumata anō hoki. My question is related to point 20D, page 15. I can't recall if we received separate information from Kāinga Ora regarding the online survey that it undertook regarding Bothamley Park. This kind of dovetails with Councillor Wihapi's question earlier before, perhaps. Is it possible for officers to furnish us with a copy of that material from Kāinga Ora, please? It would be useful to know what the public's view was in terms of that survey undertaken by Kāinga Ora. Kia ora.
Okay. Is that possible to get that?
Through the chair, yes. We'll try and get hold of that for you.
Okay. Do we have any other questions, councillors? If there aren't any, I think this is obviously a great project, part of our long-term plan and Kāinga Ora's project in the east. So without further ado, I'll put the motion. All those in favour, hold your hand, wave your hands. All those against? Carried. Thank you very much, councillors. That moves us to item 6.2, which is amendments to reserve classifications 2021. I'll move it to get onto the table. Do I have a seconder, please? Councillor Duncan, thank you very much. So this is a correction, as I understand it, Matt. You might want to just clarify it to us or for us before we vote on it.
Sure thing, Mr. Chair. Through the chair, yeah, this report is really to correct some errors with you'll remember the reserve classifications I put in front of you in probably August last year. There was a mistake in one of those reserve classifications. And before we can put it through to the New Zealand Gazette and resolve that classification process, because a council decision's been made on this, we have to come back and correct that mistake with your guys' approval. So that's what I'm seeking today. And I'd just like to say that we've set up a process to make sure that we better catch these mistakes going forward, and this won't need to happen again.
Thank you, Matt. Are there any questions from councillors? Sorry, I just have one small question, Matt, and that is, I notice it becomes drainage reserve. Previously, it was stormwater, landscape ecology, and pathway drainage. Is that is it pathway drainage or just drainage?
Through the chair, just drainage. That's the. So when the subdivision happens, it comes across vested. It came across vested as that, and I didn't catch that basically, and put the wrong classification in.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much for that. I'll now put the motion. All those in favour, wave your hands. Those against, carried. Thank you very much for those reports, everybody. That brings the this part of the meeting, or this meeting, to a close. I'm going to move that we go into public excluded. Do I have a seconder, please? Yes, Councillor Sayuli, thank you very much. All those in